Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're Mackie and Amanda. I'm Mackie. Do you hear Benny?
Was that Benny? I'm Amanda and we're the Thespookyboos.
So in today's video, we want to do something fun again, something lighthearted, and a lot of people have been requesting this once again, and it is subscriber scary stories.
It's interesting that you called it fun and lighthearted when it's literally subscribers' scary stories.
Well, I just mean compared to us going to these scary locations.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't even mean that. I was gonna start us out with the first one. And the first one, I was like literally getting ready to say that and be like, it's not really that scary. You haven't even read this one. I haven't told you about it. The first ones that we picked, neither of each other have read.
Yeah.
But this one's a little, like, lighthearted. Like,
weird.
Happy.
Okay.
I'm ready to get into it when you are.
I'm ready.
So I'm not going to share this person's name because they asked to stay anonymous.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Mackie and Amanda, wanted to share a story with you both and wanted your opinions on it. Here is my story. When I was younger, I was super scared of any spirits and all the stuff surrounding them. However, I am from an area which is notorious for hauntings and ghost tours, so I was around that stuff a lot of the time. I could never hear the word ghost or I'd go into panic mode and freak out. As I got older, I got more comfortable and started watching horror movies, and then I came across your channel. I decided to watch your channel and was getting more comfortable with the thought of spirits. Then pretty shortly after, I started watching, one of my best friends passed away. One day, my friend group was hanging around her room and we started talking about her, and all of a sudden the light near the stairs started flickering. We had called up to her parents and everyone came down when we were just watching the light flicker. My one friend was videoing and a green orb was moving all around her room. While it was happening, I got a warm feeling and I can't help but think it was her. Normally, I would have been freaking out, but I wasn't, and it was an enjoyable moment for us. I think that you guys really showed me that there is not always fear behind spirits, as to most of them were living once before. So thank you. Sincerely, a viewer.
That's crazy, because that reminds me a lot about because remember I've said so many times that I used to be terrified of this stuff until my friend passed away and I started having experiences with him, literally like the lights turning on and off. So ever since that happened, that's when I got comfortable with it all, and here we are now. So that's just crazy that she went through like the same thing.
And the green orb too. Yeah. What is up with all these green orbs?
I don't know.
First of all, suddenly.
What?
But just like how you can kind of feel like you have that sixth sense where she's like, I got this warm feeling where normally it would have freaked her out. Same for you. You probably would have been freaked out, but you knew it was your friend. Like she knew it was her friend. I think that's
very
pretty cool. People
that
have that.
That is a good lighthearted one.
I know. All right.
So this next story comes from Deanna, and she says, I don't know if you're still doing this, but I have to share. Sorry, it's kind of long. As a teenager, I had a lot of experiences of everything from dreams to visual and auditory incidents. It got to the point that I was sleeping more than a couple hours a night, and it did a number on my mental health. As a last-ditch effort, I contacted an investigative team that we met at a convention. As I was walking the team around the house and was telling her where I would get feelings but not describing actual events, she said, well, yeah, you're sensitive. I told her that I had named the ghost Charles because he seemed like a Charles, but I also felt like there was more than one thing causing stuff. So during their investigation, they experienced things that I had withheld, and their review of all the footage and recordings had some crazy stuff. During part of the night, I was sitting with the investigator in my room, and she had encouraged me to reach out. The recording captured my question along with a woman's voice, or maybe a teen female voice, saying, you won't believe, you won't believe. In reviewing the IR camera footage, they caught my dining room ceiling fan going crazy. The fan itself wasn't even turned on at the time, but the fan started spinning and gradually reached a speed that the highest setting couldn't even reach. But then it came to a dead, no pun intended, stop, and began spinning the other direction and got just as fast. They asked before showing us the footage if the fan had a remote, and when we said no, they explained that if it had, the IR camera could have possibly been triggering it. When they came back and told me that...
What the heck?
I know. When they came back, they told me that in researching the property that 3 owners prior to us was an elderly man named Charles. They also helped me take back my home, and while I still had experiences, it felt more like someone who was just popping in to say hi. I recently found your channel. I feel like it's helping me understand what I experienced.
This is crazy!
That was an insane one. The fan.
That's, like, intense.
And just the fact it came to a dead stop and started going the other direction.
Way. That's just, like, I feel like something's showing off, like...
Yeah. Look what I can do.
Yeah, literally the words I thought.
And the man named Charles who lived there before her.
It all comes full circle. It all comes first. God, why can't I say it? Cut both of those. God, it all comes full circle. So this one, the title got my attention, and I'm gonna just read it to you.
Okay.
You'll understand why.
Okay.
The demon that wouldn't leave me alone. So of course I'm like, I feel that, Paula. But here's the story. Okay. Hey guys, I'm a fan of your channel, so I have a story if you guys do any more reads. Ever since I remember having paranormal experiences my entire life, as long as I can remember. I always tell my family it's not the houses that we live in that are haunted, I'm the haunted one. Everyone on my mom's side of the family is able to sense presences and experience the paranormal, and my grandpa was able to see them. I've gone through the 9 yards seeing shadows, scratches on my skin. I had a bite mark appear on my arm while I was showering before when I was 12. Terrifying nightmares with what I believed to be demons and them that were speaking a language I didn't understand. Hearing voices that weren't there, feeling presences when they're near. All that. Wow. She just like spoke to me.
Yeah.
This experience beats it all though. I'm 22 now, and this happened when I was 16 years old. My mom had just married my stepdad, and we were getting ready to move to his home. Once we did, I had to move schools, and as you can imagine, that's quite devastating to a 16-year-old. So I got extremely depressed, lost my motivation for anything and everything. I feel like I could feel negative emotions going on in my life, but like this is what brought it on. I was sitting in my room one night talking to my ex-boyfriend on the phone, and out of nowhere, I felt a heavy presence in the room, but like none I'd ever felt before. I just knew it was evil, and I got goosebumps all over my body, felt completely paralyzed, and it was like I couldn't move a muscle. It was like it wasn't letting me leave physically. I couldn't bring myself to get up. I finally snapped out of it, got the courage to get up, and I ran. I ran out of the room to my mom's room, sat down on her bed, and said, "Mom, something is here. I feel it, it's evil, and it's trying to attack me." Could you imagine feeling so intense that you run to your mom and tell her those words?
No, there's been times where scary stuff has happened. I've ran in my mom's room and been like, something's in my room, but never been like, there's something evil trying to attack me.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
My mom right away said that she was going to pray over me, so she started praying. As soon as she did, my body started spazzing out. My shoulder started doing this weird thing where it would twitch really hard, and it was like about to come out of the socket every time my mom said Jesus. It was like it didn't want to hear his name. My head would twitch down to my shoulder. That's so far. And that's when I knew whatever had to come out, what I believed was a demon, was trying to attack my body and take control. I started to wail, scream, and cry. Through the scream and crying, I finally uttered words to my mom that I had to get out of the house. She said, "Okay," and as we were walking out of the house, she called her mom. She still feels bad for her mom to this day. They shut the door, they could still feel the presence. I don't know how, but I could feel it walking on the roof. Then I felt it go into the house. From the inside of the house, I felt at the front door, it was sitting outside, and it started to violently knock and slam on the door. No one could hear it except me.
I just keep seeing, like, it keeps looking like someone's moving somewhere. Like, as you're reading. It looks like someone's passing by, like, certain points of light in the room. Like, I see the ghost reflection in the glass, and it looks like something keeps covering it, and then... I'm, like, tripping. Keep reading. I'm gonna look at something.
So she could feel it moving all around. She was terrified. Couldn't sleep in her own room. It would follow me to school. I would feel its presence. I developed extreme body twitches that I'd never had in my life, probably because it was trying to attack me every day. I didn't see it for a long time, but I felt it ever since and finally saw it one day. Another long story that I can tell you about another time.
That's traumatizing.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I feel like that's crazy because me and this girl have so many similarities. Wow, look at you and your girl and your friend. Me and this girl with the demon.
Oh, God.
I feel like we have a lot of similarities there, just with it following her to school, like having it have that crazy presence, you know?
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
That poor mom. What would you do?
That's so funny because I say the same thing, like where I feel so bad for my mom, like the things that I said and that she like, was in the room and experienced, you know what I mean? Like, there's no book like that you can go to Barnes and Noble and, hey, my child sees demons, what do I do?
But just the fact that mom was saying Jesus and she'd start twitching,
I mean, like, whether you're religious or not, like, all I can say is that we went down so many different avenues trying to get rid of this spirit in my house because we were so desperate. Like, we'll do anything. And the one thing that made the biggest difference was, like, religious music. Playing religious music in the house made a huge difference.
Alright, we're gonna finish it off with one more. This one reads, "This is a story about what happened to me between the ages of 2 and 6 in my house in the UK. My house is Victorian era, and I used to sleep in a double bed under a vaulted ceiling. And during the night, I would have very long and surreal dreams where I'd wake up in the room and it would be slightly different. I would do day-to-day activities, but all the while, I would be waiting for an entity to make an appearance. The entity appeared in 3 different forms. The first was a small, emaciated humanoid with large, wide eyes and no nose or ears. It had a tiny mouth with no throat, only a black hole. The face was like a porcelain mask my mum owned, which I only saw after the first dreams, and demanded be removed. Even when I awake, I would see it dart around in my room as I went to sleep at night. The second form was a large human skull wrapped in black fabric. The third was a large woman over 7 feet tall with purple skin and a turban."
What?
All these forms said a similar phrase or chant. Ooh, 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 dill la will la woo. And a deep gurgle, sound like someone trying to climb upstairs. The louder sound I heard once while awake after being stabbed. I would buy ornaments to keep on my walls to keep the things away, and sometimes I had dreams of it coming through my wall. The weirdest occurrence was at night. My mom was in my room, and I saw a large white orb float in the room and apparently freaked out my mom and said, "Are you seeing something I'm not?" Seemingly, I responded with a blunt yes. More creepily, I demanded that she remove ornaments, which I say make him worse. According to paranormal researchers, I am a sensitive soul, and I am prone to experiencing synchronicities similarly to others of my mom's side of the family. Believe this if you want, but all I can say is that it deeply affected me, and you are welcome to give your thoughts.
That's crazy. So the fact that you or your mom had this article in her house, this item, that like was really affecting you, because from a very young age, when I was experiencing similar things, there was this object in my parents' house that I really particularly hated, and it was actually a Darwinism statue. Just like so happened to be, which like obviously I would have had no idea that like it was a monkey holding a skull, looking at it, sitting on a stack of books, like contemplating looking at this skull, which isn't like creepy by any means, just like this wood statue, you know. We had tons of stuff like this. It was actually a wedding gift to my parents from their best man. But I wouldn't have known that like it went against anything like
religious.
that it was like something negative or could have been like in religious text. But I told my parents they needed to get rid of it.
Wow.
My parents were like, "I'm not gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's a wedding gift." And when things went on and like progressed, we ended up having a pastor, a priest come out to bless the house, all that down those different avenues. They, at one of those points, somebody looked at it and was like, "You need to get rid of that item." And we had other stuff in the house that was like Darwinism or like pigs flying, like other weird things or like stuff from different cultures too that they didn't care about, but like that statue in particular, they were like,
weird. I mean, I tend to believe these stories like from when they're kids' ages, like super young, because most of the time it's the parents telling them and the kids don't even remember it happening. So I tend to believe those ones the most.
I agree. That's crazy. Dang. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for sharing all of your scary stories with us so we can share them with all of you. And if you have some of your own, send them to us.
Because we love reading them, you guys love hearing them. You can DM them to us on Instagram, but we prefer if you send them to us over email.
That's usually where we look.
Yes, so that will be in the description, and make sure when you do send a story that you write if you want to be anonymous or if you would like us to share your name and social media and all that stuff.
And in the description, just put scary stories. If you have any pictures,
that's great.
That's fantastic.
But we hope you guys enjoyed this little short video, something more light-hearted than what we usually do.
If you did, give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button.
And other than that, we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace!